Hello. So just check before we start. Just reply yes if all of you can hear me. Yes. Okay, fine. I have got enough yes responses. And yes, we are about to start the session. So taking on from yesterday, I hope you found yesterday's session a bit meaningful, and yes, we have got good responses from you all. So we take on here. Well, we go ahead with the general knowledge part. We go ahead with the issues of social concern. Yesterday we have seen that yesterday we have seen the breakup of the GK session, the breakup of all the paper. We have seen quantitative section, we have seen reasoning, we have seen data interpretation, then we saw the issues of social concern. So today we have a special focus on the issues of social concern. In this session, I expect you to learn a lot of the current events that has happened. Plus, apart from that, we'll have a focus on the initial part of the session, that what you should actually focus on or what must be your strategy. Just look at the session with respect to IRMA examination. Then where is GK overall? Which part to read, which part to exclude. It's very, very important in general knowledge in issues of social sessions that you have a lot of things to read about. You have a lot of things to start from, and you just don't have limits to stop. So when we have a selection as a very important part, we have rejection also as a very important part. So in all, you should be judicious in selecting the material, and again you should be judicious in rejecting any questions or any of the areas. It is very important. It is very, 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 very important for anyone that it has enough data to be used in the examination, but he should not have more data or a lot of data so that he could be confused in the examination. Well, when we start, before we start about the GK or issues of social concerns, especially with respect to IRMA, let us have a view of the session objectives, and let's move through the GK part in NBAs, GK part in IRMAs. Then we'll of course move on to the whole questions. We'll solve some of the questions. We'll see some of the questions, how to kill those questions, how to leak some of those questions, how to maximize your score in all. So we start about the session. So for the session objectives, it is a session to design to optimize students' performance in IRMA entrance examination through GK section. So, well, my friends, yesterday we have already seen that from 60 it has been reduced to 40 number of questions in issues of social concern. You must remember this, that it has been reduced from 60 to 40. Its weightage was 30% earlier, now it has been reduced to 20%. And from the yesterday's data, last year around 50 percentile was the cutoff in GK section in the issues of social concern. So considering that as a incident this year also, the cutoff is not expected to move beyond 12 or 13. So in all, we have to move up to 12-13. First target is to score 12-13 at least so that we can cross the cutoff. Then of course we have to optimize our score to 15, 18 or 21 or maybe higher. So in all, our idea is to maximize our scores in the IRMA issues of social concern, and in all, we have to optimize our scores in the overall examination. As I said yesterday, I'll repeat that also for 5 minutes after I take this slide. So to understand the value of GK section and help them to increase the score by analysis of previous year questions, understanding the areas of importance, practicing new questions based on previous year questions. So very, very important. We have to practice new questions. This is the most important part of the preparation of issues of social concern. Not just these 3-4 days. These 3-4 days will help you brushing up your ideas. Some of the important questions that have recently appeared in the newspapers, some of the data that has recently been used So we'll be presenting you some of the data, we'll be presenting you some of the recent questions, which of course you can use to optimize your score in the examination. We expect a number of questions to be coming in the examination. Then again, we'll also be solving some of the previous year questions, and we will see that how we can leave some of the questions and how we can go ahead with some of the questions. It is very important that we understand the importance of questions. The last day I told you some of the facts. I'll repeat that, and we'll fastly move on to solving the question part. Then GK and MBA. Now, starting with where does GK stand in the overall MBA examination? So, not just for IRMA, considering every other examination, GK section is like an ocean without any boundary. It can be divided in many sections with overlap. So, GK has a number of areas. It can have a static part, a dynamic part, polity, Indian national movement, economics, we have science, we have issues of social concern. So there are a number of areas in GK that you have to go through. So not especially preparing for one exam. We are not actually preparing only for one exam. We are preparing for a number of examinations. So overall, reading should be intense that we have to keep in mind, and then we have to solve a number of questions. As I said yesterday, in GK questions, most of the GK questions, you know the answer or you don't know the answer. It's not like math that you start solving the question and you may be stuck in between, or you may get a final answer. In the GK sections, generally within 10 seconds, within 15 seconds, you know that you know the answer or you don't know the answer. So it's very, very important that you have to be aware of this, that you don't have to give a lot of time to this section. You have to solve it quickly so that it gives you cushion of time for the other sections. Then you have to maximize your score also. So in the end, our underlining objective will be to speed up your problem solving ability in the issues of social concern, and to learn maximum and to see maximum questions so that you have more food for thought in your head. The more you have in your head, the more is the facts, and that will eventually help in finding the right answers in the examination. So it can be divided in many sections with overlaps. Now, when we see many of the overlaps, when we consider about IRMA, it is only issues of social concern that we see about, that is related to rural area, for rural management, the government schemes that government present to improve the society, to improve the social standards, then further health, education, poverty, women, these sections. Of course, we'll see all of them. Then moving on to the next, but every exam has few characteristic sessions, which defines most of the questions of that particular examination. So, considering IRMA, these particular questions are from the issues of social concern. One must be judicious in selecting the key focus areas of any entrance examination. So in all IRMA, IIFT, for SNAP or ZAT, you have to be very, very specific about which area you are focusing on much. Now there will be 50 to 60% of common GK for all, and then there will be specific 50 to 60% GK that will go on with IRMA, that will go on with IIFT, that will go on with SNAP. So you have to be judicious in your learning. If you are learning one thing and you are leaving other part, then of course it may help you in one of the examinations, but certainly it may not help you in other examinations. The importance of GK. Now, yes, there are questions in. The questions will be taken after the session, so please do not put a lot of questions while the session. At the end of the session, we'll have enough space for the questions. Now, coming to the importance of GK. In the first level of entrance examination, it finds weightages between 10% to 25%. So very, very important section. You just cannot omit this. You just cannot avoid this. There is a cutoff. So you have to be very, very sincere about all the sections. A good knowledge of current events also boosts one's chance in GDPI rounds. Now, very, very important. General knowledge is not helping only in clearing the prelims or the first level of the examination. When you are practically aware of the thing, that is the main thing a good manager should be having. suppose there is a fire in your company in which you are placed. Now at that time, will you be requiring your mathematical skills or will you be requiring your English speaking skills? You will ask for a comma. Suppose somebody tells you that yes, there is a fire here and 10 to 15 people are stuck here. What is that? Is that not enough? Or you will be going for the 10 or 15 or put a comma before 10 or 15. I hope you are getting the point that it's not the quantitative and your comprehension skills that comes in the real world. Now, comprehension skills and your quantitative ability presents that you have a certain level of IQ, it certifies that you have a certain level of intelligence, and it helps you in clearing the preliminary examination. GK, on the other hand, certainly helps you to an extent in the preliminary examination, but it becomes very important tool in the group discussion and in the personality interview rounds. There, a man who has a practical understanding of the things will be more successful rather than a man who has lesser understanding. So good knowledge is always important. Then you have to be selective with regard to the MBA entrance examinations. So do not underestimate this portion only because of its 10 to 25% weightages in the preliminary sessions or in the first level of the examination. Do not forget about group discussions and personality interviews. It's very, very important in the next stages. Unlike other traditional sections of an exam, this section holds importance throughout the entrance process. So I hope you must be aware of this process, you are aware of this point, and you must agree to this point that it's not only in the preliminary level. In any of the group discussion, there are no questions from quantitative or RCs or any reasoning. There are questions from a practical awareness. Questions of any topic can be answered when you will be having 2 to 3 balanced views of a lot of events. So intensive reading is necessary, of course, for that, and then be specific about questions that will be coming in the examination. And you will have to be focused on the question part or specific question part for particular examination. Well, of course, we'll discuss that further. The QA and reasoning test intelligence of the candidate, this section touches practical awareness. Now, I hope this point number 4, QAA, reasoning test intelligence of the candidate, this section touches practical awareness. Now, to be a good manager, this practical awareness helps a lot. So, in all, just to specify importance of GK in short, not only in the prelims, be ready for challenges in the GD and PI rounds also, and there only GK is left and real practical understanding is left with a good presentation, with a good personality presentation of yourself. Then, moving ahead, 1 mark in QA is equal to 1 mark in English is equal to 1 mark in GK. So, why GK is sometimes make or break sections in the examination? Now, because of this, what happens is a number of students prepare intensively for quantitative ability and English. So, what happens is there is a less scope for actually increasing your marks beyond a certain limit, or actually gaining beyond more than other students. So suppose a student cutoff has been around 25 in quantitative ability. A very good student may also score about 30, or you have to be exceptional to go beyond the 30-32 as a limit. So what happens is most of the students find themselves in the bracket of 25 to 30. But in the GK section, 12 to 15 will be the most of the candidates who will be going from 12 to 15 area. So most of the area, 12 to 15 students will be in the 12 to 15 bracket. So what happens is, if you can score 20, 20, 22, then of course you can get a lead of 5 to 7 marks beyond any students. Then most of the candidates prepare intensively for QA and English but give less time to GK. So that is, of course, with most of the students, they give a less time to GK. A sensible approach with GK can help them in increasing their marks, because English and quantitative ability is already tagged with overall attempt from any of the students. So what happens is, if we can give a rational, we can give a rational time to general knowledge section, then certainly it can help you to cross some of the barriers, and it can help you to gain some of the marks in the overall examination and decrease your gap for many of the good students. So for any of the student who is not very well versed in the other sections, it certainly requires certain level of sense that you can use this section to compete with others in which you have lost in the other sections. Then again, average time taken to solve each GK question is the least. So it just takes around 30 seconds for each GK question. So I hope you should be very clear about this. In quant and reasoning, generally the time taken is much more than what it is taken in the GK section. So each question in GK will fetch you marks very soon, and generally to the other areas cannot fetch you mark as fast as this area can. So less effort is needed to score better in GK. So in all, 1 mark of QA is equal to English is equal to GK. So in the end, we need to, when the idea is to score marks. So what can we do? We can, of course, add on our marks by selecting our areas where we can score maximum and with the least effort. GK is a section where, of course, less effort is needed. In the end, we can score comprehensively good. And as cutoffs are generally low in GK, it helps in improving overall marks. So overall, you have to be focused on this section with respect to the overall examination and with respect to all other examinations too. That GK session in the end can give you something that other sessions cannot. It can give you a comprehensive lead over others. So what in general, in short, what I can say about this is that some of the marks that you lose in the other section can actually be compensated in GK sections. Then there is a request to the students that to not type any queries unless it is asked to do so. So at the end of the session, we'll have time for the queries. Okay. So IRMA and GK. IRMA, which stands for Institute of Rural Management, Anand, aims at contributing to the professional management of rural organizations. Now, coming to particular areas of IRMA, the key focus areas are in sync with the specialization of the institute. Now, rural management is the key specialization, so the effort in the area of rural management is very important with respect to the overall sections that come in the IRMA GK section. Unlike other MBA focuses, this course make one specialized in working with cooperatives, NGOs, governments, international and international agencies. So just a brush up with IRMA, need not focus on this. We move ahead. So key areas of GK questions: rural management, social programs, schemes for education, healthcare, employment, poverty alleviation, etc., social movements in India, activities in rural areas, social problems, international issues related to agriculture and other rural sectors, rural industries, other areas which are primarily concerned with the rural areas. Now, just have a look at this. Rural management, social programs, social movements in India. So I hope you must be very well versed with this because the exam is very close. We won't be having a lot of time to jump around. We'll just be focusing on the question part right now. But so just to brush up your ideas regarding GK, have a look on the sections. We'll be moving on to the next part. The GK trend in IRMA. Just to see GK trend in IRMA. Apart from the areas that are important in this exam, there are many visible trends in the GK section of this exam. Eventually, target is to cross 35 score in GK section out of the 60 questions. Now, of course, it has been reduced to 15 to 18 out of 40 questions. To achieve this, firstly, one must be aware of the questions appearing from various areas of the examination. This can help in sorting out the areas of strength and areas of weaknesses, which would be an important factor in preparation strategy. So, generally trend is 35 out of 60. But now this year, as the question numbers have been reduced, so we can actually come back to 22 or 23 if it's very easy, but because the overall percentile cutoff has come down, so in the end our target is to score 12 to 14 out of 40 or maybe to optimize our scores up to 18 to 20 out of 40. That will be a very big boost to our total marking. So to achieve this, firstly, one must be aware of the questions appearing from various areas of the examination. Very, very important. Of course, you must have seen that. This can help in sorting out the areas of strength and areas of weaknesses, which would be an important factor in the preparation strategy. So you must be aware that which areas you are comfortable in and which areas you are not comfortable in. You will have a number of questions and take every question sincerely. Read it very well, because many a times we read it fast enough so that we miss some of the part and we are not able to catch the keywords in the questions. So what happens is we lose the shine of the question. Sometimes we lose the keyword of the question. So in order to answer it very well, keyword must be seen. It is very, very important that you catch the question, and if not, you are not getting the question, just leave it. And this all has to be done in one reading. Most of the questions are factual, you know or you don't know. So don't ponder around the question. Do not think very much about the question. Just give a one thought, and if you are not able to get the answer, just move on to the next one so that it saves your precious time for other important areas. Now, GK trend and IRMA. We have seen this yesterday. Till last year, this was a breakup that from the areas which we got the questions. That there were number of questions were 60. So, agricultural and rural development, economy, organizations, personalities, awards and important dates, and miscellaneous. So generally the areas of rural management, areas of social sectors, areas of health, areas of poverty, areas of social initiatives by the government are very, very key to this. So you have to be very sincere about the section. So in all, to sum up this, solve as many questions from these areas. In the end, that will be the key to your success in the examination. Maximum questions. Because right now we have very less time to devise our new strategy. We just have to brush up through the questions. We have to just rush through the question. So what happens is, we have to see a number of questions, as much as question possible. Go for the Gandhara, go for compendium, go for questions that we present, go for the sections that are available in your SIS, go for the section in the weekly quizzes, go for the question in various other questions, so that in all, we move on to the sections. Now just have a view on the questions. Few questions are fact-based, which can be answered by the most. Along with the questions that are fact-based, there are many questions which can be solved by using basic sense. For some examples, how relevant is the statement that labor moves in search of higher rewards? Now, the point is that some of the questions you can actually use your sense. So some of the lines that I have given, what is the meaning of economies of scale? According to IMF, which of the following countries will achieve maximum GDP growth for the year 2010-11? Yesterday I had said this point. Now, for the line number 3, just focus on again. According to IMF, which of the following countries will achieve maximum GDP growth for the year 2010 and 11? What happened? The options were from a developed countries and developing countries. We all know that from developing countries these days the growth rate will be higher. So my point is, in many questions you just have to wait for a trend, you just have to wait for a keyword, and you can use your basic sense in order to solve such questions. So apart from facts, you have to move on to the areas where you have to be focused with a keyword. Use your sense to an extent, read it once for 10 seconds, and then move on to the next question. So in all, questions should be read carefully, read slowly, 10 to 15 seconds, move on to next. Give one thought, move on to next. So let's practice. We'll see a total of 80 questions with analysis of 50 questions. This includes figures, factual, or where a bit of reasoning can be used. Now we have a third of questions, around 17 questions from previous year papers and 2/3 fresh questions. And at the end of the session, we will give you 30 questions from IRMA 2010 and 11, which can be noted down or checked online for further reference. This session will be recorded and will be kept, will be uploaded on YouTube, and even I'll provide you a link so that you can go and access those 30 questions further. So in all, we'll be discussing 50 questions now. 17, 1/3 will be from the previous year paper and 2/3 will be fresh questions. Now, question number 1 from IRMA 2007. The economic growth of a country is very much influenced by which of the following policies of the government of the country? Now, I would request all of you to answer as soon as possible. Let's see. We have many options coming. Yes, I give you 1 minute to answer. Let's see. So we have many answers coming. We have 3, 4, either 3 or either 4, fiscal policy, monetary policy. Well, at least nobody is answering forex management policy. So, well, to an extent, forex management policy is not answered by any of the participants. So it's very good to see that forex management policy is certainly not answered. Then trade policy. How could trade policy affect? Yes. So, okay, answers are coming fast. Okay, fine. I give you another 20 seconds. Now, first of all, trade policy cannot be. Trade policy is just the policy or the set of rules that are intended to change the trade flows. So it's not actually directly affecting the economy. So trade policy cannot be. It is just a set of rules to change the trade laws. Okay. Then fiscal policy and monetary policy. So there could be a fight between fiscal policy and monetary policy. So what is fiscal policy? Fiscal policy by the government is used for revenue collection and expenditure that eventually affects the economy. But still it is not the primary thing that affects the economy. How is that tax and how is that expenditure, how can that be controlled? It becomes indirectly a way of affecting the economy, but it is not directly affecting the economy. So one has to be judicious in understanding the difference between fiscal policy and monetary policy. By the monetary policy of the country, the government controls the liquidity in the market, and this liquidity eventually helps in promoting economic growth and economic stability. Very, very important to understand this. And so there is a doubt monetary policy is by RBI. Yes, it is by RBI, but RBI on the behalf of Government of India only. So in all, you have to be sensible about the sense that fiscal policy and monetary policy, there is a very less difference between them. Many of us just get confused. I again repeat that fiscal policy of the government is used for revenue collection and expenditure to influence the economy. That is taxation, how the taxation is done, and then how the expenses are done. In the end, just be focused on the fiscal policy with respect to the taxations and the expenditure. And on the other hand, monetary policy affects the money flow in the market, and if money is less in the market, yes, there will be less consumption, and if there is more, there will be more consumption. So, I hope this is clear to you. Now, we move on to question number second. From IRMA 2005, late Lok Nayak Jai Prakash Narayan was associated with. Answer in 30 seconds. Yes. So a number of answers are coming. Jayaprakash Narayan is related to, correct answer is total revolution. Now, my point is such questions are just fact-based question. You cannot use your sense. In the previous question, you can still have a fight between two options. But in the questions like this, late Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan was associated with, can we use any logical thing in this question? Can we use any logic in this question? Of course, no. Of course not. Now, so Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan was associated in the end was total revolution. You know this or you don't know this. If you don't know this, just don't ponder around. Give a thought. You don't know. Move on to the next question. So in such questions, you have to be very sensible about this. Now, White Revolution is generally referred to Operation Flood. What is Operation Flood? Of course, it is related to we know the pioneer of this White Revolution, Operation Flood, the milkman of the country, Dr. Verghese Kuran, who died recently, is related to milk. Very correct. Then further, Green Revolution. What is Green Revolution? What is Green Revolution? We certainly know, all of us know, it had happened in India in 1967. Who was the Indian scientist associated with this Green Revolution? Yes, M.S. Swaminathan. A lot of answers are coming, correct? And what is Blue Revolution? And Blue Revolution is associated with fish. Yes, very correct. So a lot of participants actually know all the four options. So thus, this question becomes very easy for the one who knows what is it, and it becomes very difficult for the person who just don't know about it. So total revolution, White Revolution, Blue Revolution, Green Revolution, and none of these. It's just factual question. You know it or you don't know it. So just move on to the next question if you don't know it. Who is considered as the pioneer of Green Revolution of India? So we have answered that in the last question. Very correct. M.S. Swaminathan. I hope you will find the link with the last question. But now in the exam you will not have such questions which will be linked to each other. Here I have put to give a view that it is not, such things are not just possible with one or two questions linked to each other. So you know this question or you don't know this question. So you must be aware of such things. Then, question number 4. It's a bit tough and it requires a bit of reading. So you may require 15 to 20 seconds. Musampalli, a village in Andhra Pradesh, has more bore wells than people, that is 5,000, but only a few yield water. There are several other villages like Musampalli where bore wells do not yield water. What is or are the probable cause for the same? Boring is not done properly. Water table has started receding in most of the states in India in general. The food grain crop which is being sown these days is abnormally high water absorbing, hence no borewell in those areas is water. So what could be the explanation? So take 15 seconds, take 15 to 30 seconds. Yes, we have a number of responses coming. Okay, I have got all the responses, all type of responses. A lot of them are coming with 5. Now, do you think any logic can be used? Yes, of course, there is a logic can be used. What is this? Boring is not done properly. Boring is not done properly. It's just not a explanation for this, because all the technology, all the tech know-how is available in the technology know-how is available in the country. So boring is not done properly cannot just be answer of anyone. So if we eliminate A, we have options 2 and 3 left. So with option 2 and 3, B is certainly correct, and we have to check if C is correct or not. So water table has started receding in most of the states in India in general. Well, it is true, and it's just a common knowledge of the current events that we must be aware of the fact that water table has started receding in most of the states in India. Even in major cities of the country, all of us are aware of this problem. Now next is food grain crop which is being sown these days is abnormally high water absorbing, hence no borewell in those areas yield water. So well, it certainly doesn't give any view. The food grain crop which is being sown these days is abnormally high water absorbing. So if it is high water absorbing, will it absorb most of the water? It's actually not true. It's just more of a hypothesis. It's not true with any of the crop. So in the end, generally it cannot absorb as much as this much water that it cannot, that people don't have it for borewell. The roots don't go very deep into it. Then further, even if it goes, then it is not also capable to absorb so much of water. So, yes, there is a doubt, sir, why not boring improper lead to the problem? No, of course, improper boring can be at one or two places, but generally it cannot be throughout the areas. So it's not a logical way that improper boring can be, or this can be a logical answer. So just have one logical answer. It has only one logical way. You know, C option is very, very easy to be eliminated. Then with A and B left remaining, boring is not done properly can also be very eliminated, because with the technological know-how today, boring has not been a very Herculean task. So generally, boring is done very, very properly in most of the areas, and though some exceptions are always there, but in the end, this is from the answer. The answer forms only B, that is third option. Water table has started receding in most of the states in India in general. Question number 5. Before WTO came into being, which agency or organization deals with international trade business? Take 15 minutes to answer. Now, so it's a sitter. So it's a sitter. So some of you are answering none of these. It's not. It's GATT. What is GATT? What is GATT? Let me see some of the answers. General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs. General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. So it was a multilateral agreement. It was signed in 1947, and which became a precursor to the WTO. When was WTO established? In which year was WTO established? Now many answers must be coming. Just note it down, 1995. 1995 is the correct answer. So initially, after World War II, the GATT was started to regulate trades and tariffs, and then it went on up to 1990s. there was a number of issues around the world, and finally, in 1995, WTO was formed. And today, India is one of the major participants of WTO, so you must be aware of this. Yes, question is about headquarters. Headquarters is in Geneva. Question number 6. Which of the following is the women upliftment program run by Indian government? Yes, take 30 seconds. Yes, take 10 seconds. 10 seconds left. Yes, it's Swashakti. Many of you could answer, but many of you could not. TRISEM is training of rural youth for self-employment. So Swashakti by name is also a bit related to a female goddess, Shakti. So Swashakti, this is a project jointly assisted by World Bank, International Fund for Agricultural Development and Government of India. And it has been launched in 6 states and started in Jharkhand. So Swashakti is the one which has been very important. And do remember that in these days, why Swashakti is important? Because these days many of the government schemes are focused around women upliftment. So women upliftment is of course a very, very, very major issue these days. So just have a focus on any other things that relate to women or children up. Then we move on to the next question. So now looking at the analysis of this part of this question, women upliftment program, you know this or you don't know this. So it's again a factual question. So just answer this question or move on to the next question. Question number 7. Under Indira Awas Yojana, grants in aid is provided for house construction to help. Take 30 seconds to answer. Yes, there are many options coming. Under Indira Awas Yojana, grants in aid is provided for people below poverty line, SC/STs and OBCs. No, it's rural people below poverty line. The correct answer is rural people below poverty line. Again, you cannot use your sense here. You can use or you can just go for it as a factual question or you skip it. Again, most of the question will be factual. Do remember that. Don't try to just answer any of the answers because I think since last 7 question you must have assessed yourself. It's good if you are getting most of the answers correct, but don't just try to mark it blindly or just guessing it, because in the end, if you end up many questions guessing up, it may eat up your marks which you have scored in the other section. So let's move on to the next question. Largest producer of rice in the world. Many answers coming. China, India, Indonesia. Yes, can this be none of these? Yes, so correct answer is, actually the correct answer is China. Now China has production around 50% more than India, but India has the largest area under production. But still China leads in the overall production because of the highest productivity in the country. Indonesia is third in the world. China is first, India is second, and Indonesia is third in the world. So again, factual question. So again, it's a factual question. Just know or don't know. Do not murmur around. Do not ponder around. Question number 9. Now, a bit tough question. Occupancy rights were granted to farmers in India under the provisions of. Occupancy rights were granted to farmers in India under the provision of. Now again a factual question. Tenancy Act, Abolition of Zamindari Act, Consolidation of Landholding Act, Land Ceiling Act. The correct answer is all of these. Abolition of Zamindari Act is related to occupancy rights. Then Consolidation of Landholding Act again is related to occupancy rights. Then tenancy reforms. So overall, these all 4 rights have been related to the occupancy rights of the area of your property. So all of these is the answer. So do remember, generally in the paper at least there are 2-3 questions. I have seen a trend that where 2-3 answers are all of these. So be aware of this. Just take it as a blind guess sometimes, but be focused on such questions. I've seen many questions which have all of these or all above as the answer. Generally have this answer as the most right one. So just be focused. Just look back at the question number 8. I just forgot to mention a point that in most of the questions today, China is the superlative used. In most of the biggest, largest, today China has advanced far ahead against most of the countries, and especially if it is in Asia or mostly or even on the global level. China is certainly the largest producer or the largest consumer or the highest in. So generally superlatives are associated these days with China. Out of 10 questions, I have seen a number of questions, 7 to 8 questions are generally focused on China. So in most of the things, so be aware of this. You cannot use it as a blind rule, but considering sometimes you are not very sure, but you are close to it, so you can use it as a quick, or you can use it as just a handy advice that China is mostly in these answers. Then question number 10. Again, very, very straight. Now, yesterday there was a lot of question about statistics. You have to remember this, you have to remember that. No, you don't have to remember all of them. Because, why? Because there are a number of such organizations and it is very, very difficult to remember all such organizations. What you can do sensibly is, just you can read some of the constitutional bodies and its establishment, not everything, or just related to rural programs. So National Commission for Women, when was it established? The correct answer is 1992. Correct. Some of you have given correct answer. The correct answer is 1992. So just have a look at the trend of the questions. This was from IRMA 2004. And a lot of questions actually come from these areas. Most of the questions come from the areas concerned with women and child, government schemes. So Just have a look. Don't go for, I again repeat that, don't just go for wild guesses. Let's move on to question number 11. Now, there is always a question about our certain government projects. For this year, I have also incorporated some question afterwards. Now, this is from IRMA 2005. Gyan Doot is concerned with. Now, you just don't have to worry if you are not able to answer some of the questions here, because these questions are from previous year questions and their current significance is almost diminished. So it's just a way that you can be well versed with such questions. And if you, some of you who have not seen the questions earlier, can just have a look at the question so that you are well versed in your mind with the type of questions that are here. Gyan Doot is concerned with. Yes, a number of answers are coming. Very good. A number of answers. The correct answer is, yes, okay. Keep use of literacy mission for the benefit of rural people. Use of information technology for the benefit of rural masses in Maharashtra. Uses of information technology for the benefit of rural masses in Madhya Pradesh. So, second and third have a lot in common. Just the difference is Maharashtra. Then Gyan Doot, of course, Gyan refers to literacy or education or knowledge, and Doot refers to something which communicates or takes to other place. So this certainly refers to something that is certainly a technology which takes the information or knowledge to other place. So certainly the answer must be 2 or 3. A bit of logic can be used, and Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. With this, directly, you cannot use any logic to get an answer of between Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. The answer should be, you must be aware of the answer. Before the start of the question, no wild guessing for between Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. Well, the correct answer is 3. Use of information technology for the benefit of rural masses in Madhya Pradesh. So again, I say, just do not be worried about this. A number of so a number of questions will be there which will be having direct references, direct facts. So you can just move on to the fact if you know it, or you can move ahead to the next question. And in these questions, these are previous year questions. Many of you must be very well ready with the current affairs. Your knowledge will be tested from question number 18, that is second section, question number 1. So these questions are previous year questions. So just have a brush up of your thoughts. The most obvious indicator of a prosperous village is. Now this is a sense question. Now this can be, you must not be aware of it, but it still, you can sit and still use your sense in the examination. Let's see how many of you give the right answer in this one. Male-female ratio, effective water management, soil health, women empowerment. So now a lot of answers are coming, all of these. Lot of answers, all of these, but all of these is not correct. So now no 5. Now let's have analysis of all these 4 options. Male-female ratio. Male-female ratio shows the gender balance of the area. So what happens if there is a positive gender balance? There is supposed to be a prosperous village. Why? Because it means that people are educated and there are good facilities also. And then again, positive male-female ratio is a very, very basic indicator of education and prosperity, considering that people are not backwards. Generally, in conservative societies or in the backward societies, female feticide is there. So male-female ratio is very obvious indication. Effective water management cannot be, many states of Punjab, many villages in Punjab and Haryana have very effective water management, but they are not prosperous village because of the skewed male-female ratio. Soil health. Now suppose there is a a city or a village close to coastal areas which is often flooded, but still it is a very important area of communication or very important area of transportation. So today many service sector cities are not requiring agriculture as their mainstay. 200 years back, soil health was very important because agriculture was the only thing that was used for 200 years back. Today, agriculture is not the main thing. A city can have telecom services as main. For example, Kota is a city in Rajasthan which has education as a very important sector, most important sector. It is flourishing, it has good money. Cities like Visakhapatnam and villages near Visakhapatnam, they have good port facilities and they are very good, they are prosperous. So effective, the soil health has ceased. Then women empowerment. Women empowerment can also be, but women empowerment cannot be the only indicator. Now, women empowerment means those who are there, the women, those who are in the village, for them, there are certain schemes. But still, the same is true with Punjab and Haryana, many areas in Punjab and Haryana. There are women empowerment schemes in Haryana and Punjab in many of the villages. But due to ineffective male-female ratio, certainly it becomes a prime indicator because it also includes the women empowerment section as just one small point. So male-female ratio has a better say in this question. Many of you may be confused between 1 and 4. It is logical to bit extent, but male-female ratio is more correct in this sense. So answer is option 1. So such questions you may also expect in the examination. You will have at least 2 to 3 such questions, but be judicious in selecting the answer. Some of the questions may not be easy. Then question number 30. UNO classified countries among the developed and undeveloped on the basis of. Population, education facilities, per capita income, change in the index of GDP in last 3 years. So let's sort out the answers. Population. If population is considered as the fact, then from India, then India must be developed, China must be developed, Indonesia must be developed, Pakistan must be developed, Bangladesh must be super developed. It has highest per population density in the world, so certainly population is not a criteria. Education facilities. Now, this could be true, but let's see if it's true or not. In most of the Eastern European countries, they have very good education facilities, but still they are not developed. So, education facilities are not the only criteria. Then, we skipping option 3, change in index of GDP in last 3 years. So, last 3 years India is improving fast. So we still know that it's developing, it's not developed in that sense. So logical option is 3. Now this was an easy question. Most of you have answered correct and I expect most of you to answer this question. Such question should not be left. I tell you, if you lose a sitter, you lose 1 mark. If you lose a sitter, you lose 1 mark. And if you actually correct a difficult question, that is actual +1. Now basic questions will be will be answered correctly by most of the candidates. So if you are answering a sitter correctly, it's just neutral. But if you are missing any sitter, it's perfect -1. And similarly on the other side, for the hard questions, it's the reverse. For hard questions, if you have very tough option, for hard questions, if you are correct, you get +1. Now, if you hard question, if you are not correct, if you haven't approached the question, it's just equal to others. So very, very important with this. So correct answer is per capita income. So question number 12 and 13, both can be answered logically. We saw some of the factual questions. Jump in 10 seconds, read, give a thought, move ahead. Mark it or move ahead. Then for factual questions, certainly you can give another 10 seconds for thinking. Which of the following is not a greenhouse gas? From IRMA 2008. Methane is a very important greenhouse gas. Many answers are coming. Carbon dioxide is certainly, carbon monoxide is certainly, nitrogen dioxide is certainly, it's hydrochlorothiazide. Now I expect this question on the easier side. Most of you should answer it correctly. Because methane is evolved from the fields, grain fields. And it is one of the largest greenhouse gases. So hydrochlorothiazide. Question number 15. Which of the following is not under surveillance target of the Government of India? Again, factual, but still something can be done. Try your sense. This question has a bit of keyword and it can be used sensibly. Your sense can be used to answer this question. So for tuberculosis, you go to any of the medical hospital, you will find a big board concerning tuberculosis. So tuberculosis is certainly on the agenda of Government of India. Typhoid, again important. Measles has almost been abolished. It was under Government of India. Under the surveillance target today, cancer is not. A correct answer is cancer. Cancer is still not a prevalent disease in the rural areas. It is still most of the urban. It is still related most of with the urban lifestyles, with the excess of. We are today in urban lifestyles. We are exposed to most of the radiations, and which has become a primary cause of the cancer and measles. Though it is not very common today, but still in rural areas, you can often find measles patients and measles. So, cancer is the correct answer. So, a bit of surprise for most of you, but cancer is the correct answer. Then, fact. Now, one pure statistics fact question. What is the GDP growth for agriculture of India for the year 2006 and 7? Now, I don't expect you to answer this question. Just do not answer this question. This was just to show that one such question will be there. So you have to be aware of the current affairs. Even if you know this or you don't know this, it will not be effective because this data has been asked, which has happened 5 years back. So, for this, correct answer is blank. Let's leave this question. It was just for you to understand that such questions will be there, one or two. So, from current exercises, just be aware of some of these. Now coming back. This Indian state has the largest forest cover in India. Can you name it from the given options? Take 15 seconds. Yes, many answers. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes. 1, 2, 1, 2. So, what would be the hint? Largest forest cover in India. Now, sometimes people get confused. Largest forest cover in terms of percentage or largest forest cover in terms of area. So, this generally comes as a problem to many. But as for with the question, largest forest cover is just the area. And which is the largest state in the country? The largest state is Madhya Pradesh. So, Madhya Pradesh could be the most likely answer. When we compare with Arunachal Pradesh is too small. Chhattisgarh and Odisha are further very small compared to Madhya Pradesh. So, Madhya Pradesh is most likely, but again, I would say it is just 50% of the answer. One cannot just go blindly. You have to be aware of at least some of the facts. Madhya Pradesh is the largest state in the given options, and when we don't have any other state which is compared in the size of Madhya Pradesh, you must be well aware of this fact. Then you can go ahead with this question logically. Otherwise, such questions may you may lose such questions. In the end, so be judicious in your selection in such factual questions. Have a sense in such factual questions. Have a 10 seconds, read, then again think. If you don't get, move ahead. For factual questions, just 10 seconds, you know it or you don't know it, move ahead. Answer is Madhya Pradesh. So now, more questions for IRMA. These are the fresh questions. Now next 33 questions that we answer will be fresh questions. Now let's start from question number 1. Which of the following is the nodal department for the overall policy, planning and coordination of programs for the development of scheduled castes, socially and educationally backward classes and denotified tribes? Yes? Now, certainly it cannot be Department of Consumer Affairs. Just remove that. So B option doesn't have any significance. Department of Family Welfare. Family Welfare will not see denotified tribes or educationally backward classes. Remove C. Now A and D could be there. Now rural development will not see the tribe areas, especially because tribe areas sometimes are urban areas also. Many cities in the northeastern states or capital cities have a large number of tribal population and they are not rural. So rural development is concerned with the rural specific. So naturally the answer left is Department of Social Justice and Empowerment. The Government of India has launched Pradhan Mantri Adarsh Gram Yojana for the integrated development of. Now, pure fact question, I would again say, try to use your sense to a bit extent. A, B, C, D. So just a factual question. The correct answer is A. Scheduled caste dominated villages of India with about 50% of population. Question number 3. Who is the current director of National Institute of Social Defenses? Now current question, expect 1 or 2 questions from these areas, current director, current head, current chairman. So just be aware of such people these days. Do read from Gandhara, do read from the quizzes that you have got, do read from the compendium that you have. So these questions generally you don't have any logical sense you can apply, just you will answer it or you don't answer it. So, any guess? Let us check how many of your guess works today. Well, I could see some of the options. Very few of you got the correct answer. Its actual answer is A, Chaitanya Murthy. So, today it's not your day, so I could see many of your guesses are wrong. So be aware of this. In the exam, this could be one of your questions. So what will happen? -1/4. Don't eat up your marks that you score in the other questions. Which of the following article of the Constitution of India enjoins upon the state to promote with special care the educational and economic interests of the weaker sections of the people, in particular of the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes? Now, pure factual question from these articles are under which part of the Constitution? It is under Directive Principles of State Policy. Which of the following article of the Constitution of India enjoins upon state to promote special care for the educational and economic interests of the weaker section of the people, in particular of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Many of you are giving answer. The correct answer is Article 46. It's just, this is the one provision in Directive Principles of State Policy. Very important. Many of you have missed because you haven't read fundamental rights or DPSPs. This is one of the major, this is the only one where we can actually touch the Constitution of India. There are 2-3 more articles concerned, but generally this is the most important article concerned, that is under DPSPs, that is Article 46. So just to make you remember that such thing also exists. Now, who heads the National Committee on Direct Cash Transfers? Recently, the direct cash transfer has been started. Subsidy will be abolished soon. So who will be heading the National Committee on Direct Cash Transfers? Finance Minister, Home Minister, Prime Minister, or none of these? So don't use much logic. Let's see your guesses. Most of you are wrong. A is wrong. C is the correct answer. Prime Minister will head the National Committee on Direct Cash Transfers. So, you know it or you don't know it. So just do not rush through. 10 seconds. Next question. What is not correct regarding Samarth? Now, what is Samarth? So, factual question from current affairs. I give you 30 seconds. Yes. Number of wild guesses. Yes. It is related to persons with disabilities, but not its national festival. Yes, it's related with disabilities. A lot of answers are coming, still coming. It is related with disability, but not directly related with the persons with disabilities. Samarth is an initiative that would strengthen abilities to manage and respond effectively to HIV and AIDS in India. So disabilities regarding HIV and AIDS in India is related to Samarth. This time it would be organized in Hyderabad. So for Samarth, such questions, your idea should be you know this or you just leave the question. Because first you should know Samarth and then you should come on to the options. So it is generally these questions become very tough at times. Next, Kutir Jyoti program was launched to improve the living standards of scheduled caste and tribal families, to improve the living standards of rural BPL families, to improve the living standards of families of peoples of all castes. Many correct answers I could see. Kutir Jyoti program. Take 10 seconds. Kutir Jyoti program was a program by Government of India to provide at least 1 point light connections to households of rural families. So it includes BPL, scheduled caste and tribal. So the correct answer is D, A and B. To improve the living standards of scheduled caste, tribal families and rural BPL families. So very important, B and A, both are included. Kutil Jyoti program, remember about Kutil Jyoti program? It was started by Government of India it was actually started in 1980s that envisaged that it extend single point light connection to households of rural BPL families. So so this question again, factual, you know, and you just don't know. So, question number 8. Rajiv Gandhi National Fellowship, a central sector scheme was launched in. Now this is a question. This is a question just to puzzle you again. Such questions I know it will be very difficult because such questions are very, very factual. It's not easy. Let's see your guesses today, how your guesses work. Well, the correct answer is B, 2005 and 6. So, cross your fingers. Any day you could be correct, any day you could be wrong. But guesses are always very, very risky. So use it with a common sense too. Now, question number 9. According to the recent reports of scientists of IISc and IIT, India may warm up by 1.7 degrees Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius by which year? 2020, 2030, 2040, 2050. Not just the wild guesses. Something can be used. Some sense can be used. Now, because there was a report about the world about 2020 and 2030 also. So, 2020 and 2030 could be the possible answers. 2040 and 2050 are very difficult to be estimated. And it's a rise of around 1.7 to 2 degrees Celsius. So, if you are just aware of some of the developments in environmental areas, or if you have read some of the news recently, or maybe if you are a habitual reader, then certainly you would see many figures related to 2020 and 2030. So correct answer is 2030, and again very, very factual. So be aware before actually going into it. Question number 10. Name the village in Rajasthan where Aadhaar enabled service delivery has been launched. Yes, I could see some of you answering the incorrect one. Kembli was the village where first time Aadhaar was launched. Aadhaar enabled service delivery. Just be aware. Read it again. Many of you have answered A as the answer in a hurry. And we know option C and D. Option C is in the news, Kudankulam, because of the nuclear reactor. Then Singur was news because of the Tata Nano factory. Singur and Nandigram, if you remember, 2-3 years back. So, Tembli and Dudu are the options, and Tembli is given to confuse you. Tembli was the place where first Aadhaar number was launched. So, such questions, always be aware, it's close to you, but you always miss such questions. After the exam, there are many answers by many candidates, or just miss that, or I was in a hurry. So, I always have repeated that. Give 10 seconds reading to each question. Do give 5 seconds, 10 seconds to each question, careful reading. Just don't rush through. Average, you have 30 seconds for each question, 20 minutes for 40 questions. So for 10 seconds reading, think a bit. Correct answer is Dudu. It's in Rajasthan. Which of the following is correct regarding Valmiki Ambedkar Awas Yojana? Recently, it is a current affair question. The question has A, B and C, just have two parts. Question, option A has slum dwellers, option B has rural poor, C has slum dwellers and rural poor both. The correct answer is A, it is only for slum dwellers who are below poverty line. So again a factual part, it is only for slum dwellers who are below poverty line. Shram Bhushan awards carry a cash prize of. These are from the current affairs. Now what is Shram Bhushan award? Shram is related to labor. What is the correct answer regarding this? Yes? The correct answer is? Yes, many of you are correctly answering it. It is 1 lakh rupees. Correct. Then we move on to the next question. Sangam Yojana is for the benefit of. What is Sangam Yojana? Sangam Yojana is for the benefit of. Again, very, very factual. It is for handicap. So handicap of rural areas or urban areas or both the areas. It is for the handicap of rural areas. So we had some of the factual questions. We'll slowly move on to some of the questions which can be used with tense also. So just which of the following is not correct regarding the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan? So these schemes were launched. We expect one or two such schemes to be featured in your exam. So hope you will have a revision of all these certain schemes that have been launched by Government of India recently. So question number 13, the correct answer was handicap of rural areas. Question number 14 back again. Which of the following is not correct regarding the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan? Many answers are coming. I think it was an easy question. Again, the correct answer is 6 to 14. It aims to provide relevant elementary education to the children of the age group 6 to 14 years. What is the web application which has been developed by Chris and Rail Yatri team to allow users to access real-time location of a train? A lot of you are giving the answers. Rail Radar, Rail Inquiry, Yatra, none of these. Very correct. It was an easy question. So, well, it should have been answered by most of you, and yes, it has been answered. Very correct. Again, a factual question. So, sensibly answered. Rail Radar is the correct answer. Good. Then which of the following is not correct regarding Janani Shishu Suraksha Karyakram? Again, one of the recent schemes launched by Government of India. So which of these is not correct regarding Janani Suraksha Karyakram? It is also advisable to read these slides after the exam, after the session also. These are the current schemes. Certainly one of these will focus in the, one or two will certainly come in the examination. We have focused on the recent areas. So, which of the following is not correct regarding Janani Suraksha Karyakram? So correct answer is C, and yes, most of you have correctly answered. And if you just read the options, you will be very sensible. It provides free and cashless service to pregnant women, including normal deliveries. It provides free and cashless services to sick newborn. It is only for urban areas. Now, most of the problem in India is from the rural areas regarding infant mortality rate. India's infant mortality rate is still higher considering the states, considering the countries around the world. So, it is only for the urban areas. This doesn't seem to be logical, and you should be you should answer this question. It gives an answer which can be very logically concluded. So it is only for urban areas, which is certainly wrong part. So apart from factual, this still looks factual, but it has an option which can be very easily sorted out by using your common sense. So 16, correct answer is C. Workers losing employment on account of closure, retrenchment, and permanent invalidity arising out of non-employment will get unemployment allowance about 50% of their wage under Rajiv Gandhi Shramik Kalyan Yojana. So, what is the correct answer? Workers losing on account of closure, retrenchment, permanent invalidity arising out of non-employment will get unemployment allowance about 50 under Gram Shramik Kalyan Yojana for a maximum period of, it's actually 6 months. So again, very, very factual. Read, just a thought, move on to the next. You know it, mark it. You don't know it, leave it. For a maximum period of 6 months. To encourage Panchayati Raj institution to promote sanitation, which of the following award has been initiated? Right, is many of this has been featured in many of the newspapers and magazines. So I hope most of you will be able to answer this. What is the correct answer? Yes, most of you have given correct. So it is a filter. If you answer this, you are neutral with others. But if you are answering it wrong, if you are answering it incorrect, this is -1 compared to others. So be very, very sensible in answering such questions. You must answer such questions because they are very easy. These are very easy questions. So many of you are having a point that can these slides be accessed? Yes, these slides will be accessed, can be accessed. The link will be given at the end of the slideshow, now at the end of the session. So please be patient. Now, midday meal scheme. In midday meal scheme is provided to student up to which class? Now it is an easy question. Again, this was just to check your sense. I know many of you must be aware of this, but still many of you would be doing this question wrong because you haven't read it carefully. I could see some of the correct answers, but I could see a lot of wrong answers also. 8th is the correct answer. 8th is the correct answer. Midday meals scheme is provided to the student up to 8th class. Question number 20. Converging against child labor. Converging against child labor, support for India's model is joint initiative of. Department of Labor. Now again factual question currently in the news. This has been currently in the news. Answers started coming. Those who can't give, let's see, give a wild guess. Is your guess working today? So most of you must be knowing it's not very easy, but it is a mediocre question. In many of the books it has given, in many of the write-ups it has been given, it has been taken from them. ILO and Ministry of Labor and Employment, Government of India. So it's regarding labor and child labor. So question option C and D are confusing a bit, but still it's more concerned with the labor problems. So ILO is involved with Ministry of Labor and Employment Government of India. Who among the following has never been awarded Nobel Prize for Economics? Now, a Nobel Prize from economics area. Paul Krugman, Elinor Ostrom, Amartya Sen, Muhammad Yunus. Many options coming. Most of you are correct. Yes, the correct option is D, Muhammad Yunus. Muhammad Yunus was awarded Nobel Prize for Peace. He was awarded Nobel Prize for Peace. And this is for economics. So Muhammad Yunus is actually related to microfinance and banking. So a lot of students have a point that he was awarded for economics. So generally, this has been done wrong by many of the students in many examinations. So I had asked this again here. It is an easy question. It is a slitter, but because most of you haven't read such questions, such data carefully, you lose such marks in the examination for which you are very confident of answering. But still, Muhammad Yunus is the answer. Now, who is or are the beneficiaries of the Ujjwala scheme for prevention of trafficking and rescue, rehabilitation and reintegration? Now, who are the beneficiaries of Ujjwala scheme? Correct answer is women and children both. Correct answer is women and children both. Now, question number 23. Which of the following is not correct regarding National Agricultural Insurance Scheme in India? Again, from a very important scheme in India regarding agriculture. Such schemes are very much focused in such examinations. Please be focused on such schemes, as very likely one or two of them may be in the examination. So again, a fact. Let's see which of the following is not correct regarding NAIS in India. The scheme is available to all farmers, loanee and non-loanee. It would operate on the basis of area approach. The scheme covers food crops only. None of these. So, well, option A, all farmer loanee and non-loanee, certainly it cannot be. It would operate on the basis of area approach. It has not been on the area. It is pan-India. So, C and D could be the logical answer. The C and D could be caved upon, or these could be rounded upon. Scheme cover food crops only where it's related to agriculture and it covers food crops only. C is the correct option. So for this question, you can actually eliminate two options, but still very difficult to eliminate C and D. So correct answer is scheme cover food crops only. NFSM, National Food Security Mission, has been launched by who has been instrumental in launching NFSM? Ministry of Agriculture, Rural Development, Consumer Affairs, Health and Family. So C and D cannot be the answer, directly delete it. Then Ministry of Rural Development and Ministry of Agriculture, this could be. Now, food security must be related to rural areas only or urban areas. food security is related to any of the areas, rural and urban areas both. So not effectively, by Rural Development Ministry only. So it is actually by Ministry of Agriculture, the Government of India. So just have a sense, food, it's related to food security. Food security is not only the problem of rural India, it's a problem of urban India also. So why only Ministry of Rural Development should be responsible? And Ministry of Consumer Affairs certainly cannot be in this section. Health and Family Welfare Government of India also doesn't have any link to food security. So option A, correct answer is A. Now, this question certainly has fact, but a sense can also be used. So my idea is that many such questions will be featuring in where both institutions can be used, our both abilities can be used, where we can use our factual knowledge and then we can use our sense also. So here a bit of fact is needed and then we'll move on further to use our sense and we can sort out some of the answers like this. Which public sector bank has been awarded Niryat Bandhu in the banks category by Federation of Indian Export Organizations? Now it was in the news recently. Yes, many answers coming. CCAA, PNB. So which public sector bank has been awarded Niryat Bandhu in the banks category by Federation of Indian Export Organization, FIEO? A lot of answers, correct answers it cannot be decided by your sense or common sense or basic sense. Just straight, Canara Bank is the answer. You know it or you don't know it. Which committee suggested for the exclusion of people of above poverty line out of the food security bill? Which committee suggested this? Tendulkar Committee, Kelkar Committee, Ashok Chawla Committee, or Rangarajan Committee? Ashok Chawla Committee, what was on it? Ashok Chawla Committee was on which issue? It was on the issue of the allocation of natural resources. Ashok Chawla Committee was on the issue of the allocation of natural resources. Then Tendulkar Committee was on poverty. Tendulkar Committee was on poverty. And Kelkar Committee was focused on the Indian economy. Kelkar Committee was focused on Indian economy. It has actually proposed many policy actions which can be used so that the credibility and feasibility of Indian economy can be increased. So correct answer for this question is Rangarajan Committee. Now next question. Payment of Bonus Act 1965 is applicable in case of an establishment employing recently there has been a issue of 20 number also in another banking sector also. This is 20 or more persons. Payment of Bonus Act. So, factual question, do not use your head, just if you know it or you don't know it. These are from the current affairs. Sometime back they have been in the news for one or the other reason. So if you are not aware of the current affairs, you may lose such areas. Which is not correct regarding National Health Insurance Scheme. So which of the following is not correct regarding National Health Insurance Scheme? It is for the workers of unorganized sector living under BPL, contribution of state and center 75-25. Under this scheme, target people get a smart card at the cost of rupees 30 only. Under the scheme, given smart card provides cashless medical service up to rupees 50,000. So 50,000 is certainly too much, don't you think? National Health Insurance Scheme, if cashless transaction of up to 50,000 is provided, it will certainly be a problem. So correct answer is option D. So question number 19. Which of the following is not correct regarding Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme? Which of the following is not correct regarding Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme? Originally, the scheme was named as NREGA. Of course, it is correct. It was launched in February 2006. It's certainly correct. It provides at least 100 days guaranteed wage employment. So, the scheme is applicable both in urban and rural areas. Certainly, it's not. It's only in the rural areas by the name it's given, Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Which of the following is not correct regarding NRHM, National Rural Health Mission? Another scheme for you. Which of the option is correct? Fact. It seeks to provide effective healthcare to rural population throughout the country. It's true. It seeks to revitalize local health traditions and mainstream Ayush into public health system. It's correct. It seeks to promote healthcare at household level through the female health activist Asha. Certainly it's correct. It was launched in 2006. It's not correct. So these questions are fact-based questions. So do not waste your time here. And it was launched actually in 2005. It was initially launched for 7 years. Now it has been extended. So National Rural Health Mission, very important. Which one among the following countries is largest trading partner of India? USA, China, UAE, Russia. Easy question. I hope most of you will be able to answer. Setter must be answered. -1 for incorrect answer, 0 for correct answer. It will be -1 compared to So there are many issues regarding this. Many think it's China, many think it's UAE, many places it's given UAE, many places it's given China. So which is the correct one? So today total trade with China is maximum. UAE has just been surpassed in recent time just by over 5%. So India-China trade is 5% more than India-UAE trade. India-China trade is around $75 billion and India-UAE trade is around $71 billion. So recently India has crossed, but one thing is very important when it comes to trade imbalance. It's again with China. With UAE, India has a trade positive. India is on equal footing, almost on equal footing with UAE. But with China, there is a big trade deficit. There is a big trade gap. There is a big deficit with China. Ministry of Power has launched Bachat Lamp Yojana with which of the following? FERI, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Ministry of Environment and Forest. It is Bureau of Energy Efficiency. The correct answer is Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So, Bachat Lamp Yojana must be well aware of this. Recently it was in the news. So, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, you know it or you just don't know it. You just cannot murmur around in such questions. Now, which of the following is not a component of Bharat Nirman? Which of the following is, this is a common question. This has been a very common question. Bharat Nirman has been regularly asked in many of the examinations. It is one of the very important projects in India, launched by Government of India. So, what is it? Rural telephony, housing, education, irrigation potential. The correct answer is primary education. Good. Most of you gave the right answer. So it's very good to see most of you giving right answers for such sectors, but I still see many of you have not been very confident in giving answers about many schemes which are commonly in the news these days. So, some of you who have actually given many correct answers must be very well ready for their preparations, and it's very good. Let's hope they score very good marks. And for rest, you have to be ready with the answers. You have to be practicing more questions. You have to be going on with more answers. That will of course help you in increasing your factual knowledge and in the end, some more questions for IRMA. These questions that are featuring now are from IRMA 2010 and 2011. So these are 10 questions, another 10 on the next slide, another 10 on the next slide. Just go through the questions. Just go through the questions for 5 minutes. Just have a look on these questions. I'll be keeping one slide for 2 minutes. So 2 minutes for this, 2 for next, 2 for next. So in all 6 minutes, take 6 minutes. Just read through the question. You must be aware of such things. Now IRMA doesn't release the paper. In the end, we can still read some of the points. The objective of which of the following schemes is women empowerment? What is meant by para-banking? As per sample registration system, which of the following state has registered maximum dip in death rate during period 1998-2008? Who is C. Rangarajan? What is the objective of NABARD in launching joint liability groups? What is the meaning of financial inclusion? In which of the following countries the price of kerosene is the lowest? What is the meaning of financial inclusion? In which of the following countries the price of kerosene is the lowest? According to IMF, which of the following countries will achieve maximum GDP growth rate for the year 2010-11? Which of the following scheme as a channel of food distribution of weaker sections of the society? What starter fact 2B? So be ready with such questions. Question number 11 to 20. Who is the chairperson of National Commission on Farmers? I repeat, these are the questions from previous year. Questions 2010 and 2011. Who has written towards a hunger-free world? For which of the following reasons has UNO promoted plantation of Jatropha in India? What percentage of population in India is less than 25 years? In which of the following years is JNN, Jawahar Nehru solar mission expected to achieve 1,000 megawatt of power? Who won the Nobel Prize for Economics 2010? IMF has expressed concern about how many Asian economies for which of the following reasons? The objectives of Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Act, the objectives of installing satellite-controlled GPS navigation on the vehicles carrying food grains for the food poor. It is generally observed that between revenue deficit and the fiscal deficit is. So just have a look at these questions. These questions have appeared in the previous exam years in 2010, 2011. So this will give you again a sample of questions, will give you about the type of questions. In India, which sector has achieved maximum growth in the year 2010? How relevant is the statement that labor moves in search of higher rewards? What are the reasons for the mid-quarterly review of monetary policy by RBI? What is the meaning of economies of scale? As per the latest sample registration system, which of the following states has registered greatest dip in the population growth rates? According to you, which of the following is true about inflation and deflation? As per the recent figures, which of the following is the biggest contributor of India's import bill? How are microfinance and charity related? Which of the following objective is or are included through Mines and Mineral Development and Regulation Act 2010? So these are again 30 questions. Now more questions for IRMA. If you have missed any part of the session, you can visit from tomorrow www.careerlauncher.com/classapart. From here you can get the link to this PPT and to this session. Then for the next session on 9th, a quick look up at your preparation so far and more than 80 new questions with solving method to be presented to unlock this difficult section of issues of social concern. These new questions may already be a part of IRMA on 11th. So in the end, we have a more set of questions ready. These were from the net schemes. Then there are further many areas in which questions are there. We can certainly be attentive with such questions that have featured recently in in the current affairs or in last 4-5 months. In all, we'll be solving those questions again here And of course, more of the time will be given to the questions for from the current areas. Now, questions for now you can send your questions regarding preparation or any other doubts. Yes, please upload this PPT, certainly. Yes, your PPT will be there on the link that I have provided. You can just note this down, www.careerlauncher.com. And if you have any doubt, I just give you the mail address. For IIFT, there will be a session tomorrow. For IIFT, there will be a session tomorrow, and then there will be a session on 11th and 16th. There will be, we are having enough time. For questions of how many months since last 3 months should certainly be seen. For FLT, you can go to the website. It's already there. So the link will be given tomorrow on the link in front of you. You can of course be there, and links will be uploaded there. For up to 1 month back, you can see the current affairs. For last 1 month, you certainly don't need to see the current affairs section. Is fine. Any other doubt? So thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. And we'll be presenting another 80 questions very soon, just day after tomorrow, and that will be very, very helpful for the IRMA. These questions are certainly from the recent sessions, so certainly it will be very, very helpful. Please do attend that. Very, very important 80 questions. Okay, thank you very much. I'm leaving my email address again, and if you want, you can mail your queries there. Okay, thank you. हाँ बस हाँ बजाना पड़ेगा। अरे लसिया वाले हैं ठीक है। हाँ हाँ श्रीनगर हम लौटेंगे 2 हफ्ते बाद कम से। अरे वहाँ पापा ठंड नहीं होती है ठीक। मैं पिछले साल गया था 8 दिन। दिल्ली से सही ज्यादा सही चीज होती है। दिल्ली में इतना पोल्यूशन होता है। अरे वहाँ पे एक सेंटर है उसके अंदर मुझे बहुत दिक्कत हो गई है तो उसको वहाँ एनर्जी आना पड़ रहा है। उसकी जगह कोई होना चाहिए वहाँ सारा हम ही देखेंगे मतलब सीएम का पूरा बिजनेस काम है। तो समझ लीजिए कि मैं 2 हफ्ते जरूरत है 2 ढाई हफ्ते अगर भी जाके 5 दिन के लिए छुट्टी मिलेगा टाइम पड़ो मतलब हवाई जहाज की टिकट मेरा ऑफिस वाला दे रहा था मेरे चलो तो पूरी फालतू यहाँ पे 3-4 दिन तो चलो ना कर चलो। तो वो आ जाएगी फिर 14 तक हम आएंगे वापस 23-24 बहुत लंबा था जी। हाँ नहीं वहाँ पापा पॉल्यूशन नहीं होता है इसलिए काफी सही होता है। जब दिल्ली में बल्कि ज्यादा दिक्कत होती है ऐसे मौसम में। यहाँ आपको पता नहीं होगा आप न्यूज देंगे हो 7 दिन से दिल्ली में पूरा वापस धूप नहीं हुई है। हाँ मतलब उसको और है यहाँ पे तो यहाँ ज्यादा दिक्कत होती है। है हाँ अभी मतलब तो अटेंडीज तो मैंने देखा है अटेंड किया मतलब एक लास्ट ओके ओके वही मतलब वही नहीं अटेंडीज लास्ट तक रहे इधर लास्ट में जब लॉग आउट किया वही 250-240 कर दी है। हाँ प्रेजेंटेशन पूरी कर दी थी वही शुरुआत वाला पार्ट काफी शॉर्ट कर दिया जो कि सोचा था मुझे लग रहा था कि पेशेंट हो रहे हैं। ये चीज बहुत बड़ी चीज है कि ये ज्ञान हमें नहीं बांटता है तो ज्ञान शुड नॉट बी ओ वही लग रहा था ये नहीं ऑफकोर्स लेकिन सर बंदा मुझे मजे में लिख रहा था सर मैं क्या कहना सर आप देखो कि नहीं एक दो लाइन में हाँ वही बाबा करके जो था उसके एक दो अब इतने सारे आ रहे थे तो एक तो हाँ हाँ ऐसे हो सकता है वो भी मतलब मुझे पहले मुझे लगा था मुझे ऐसा लगा चलो ठीक है आप सब लोग देख रहे होंगे वहाँ बैठे बैठे अच्छा, ओके, अच्छा अच्छा, ओके ओके, हाँ 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 हाँ, ठीक है ठीक है। अरे सर मैं ये कह रहा हूँ जैसे IFT का सेशन हमारा 11 तारीख को है पहला, क्या वो आगे नहीं हो सकता? मतलब मैं थोड़ा कुछ चीजें अच्छे समझता हूँ क्या एग्जैक्टली चाहिए, मतलब दे नीड मोर कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव विद द क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर्स नहीं है हमारे पास।